Welcome back to another episode of Aunt and Andrew with Family's Everything.
Until it's not. Hi, Andrew.
Hi, Aunt. I had to tell Aunt everyone to stop saying that the show is over because the show must go on.
The show must go on.
No
You know
matter
what?
what.
Every time I hear that, I think of Moulin Rouge.
Why?
Because that was the song when Satine dies. They say this show must go on. I don't think I gave away any spoilers there. If you haven't seen Moulin Rouge
No,
yet,
I don't think that. I'm just saying I don't remember it.
yeah, the show must go
Oh, that's not in the
on.
musical. Maybe it's only in the movie.
Oh, it was in the movie.
I've
I'm
seen the
talking
musical
about.
3 times.
Oh, yeah, maybe it's not in it. I think it's one of the best movies. But I'm
It's
going to
the
tell you
best musical you will ever see in your life.
why I haven't seen it.
Production wise, production value, like
Okay, I believe
scenes,
that.
set,
I
dancing.
can. Well, the movie though is fantastic, but here's the problem. I saw it on the big screen. It's kind of like The Greatest Showman. You have to see it on the big screen. There are some movies you need to see on the big screen. And then if you take it, watch it at home, even if you got a 75-inch, it's just not the same. And Moulin Rouge is one of those. I wish they would re-release it. I would go see it again.
When shows are at the end of their run, they tend to have like a movie, like Sex in the City, the movie. Maybe we should have Vanderpump Rules, the movie.
Oh, that would be cool. Have they done any other shows like that
No.
became a movie? I just Sex in the City. But listen, Sex in the City was a series, and then it was a movie, and then it's back to a series.
Oh.
But I stopped watching it when it came back for the second time after Big died. No, I watched one episode. I said they kill Big. I don't care what happens. I
What
always
did you
love
think?
Big. Of the reunion,
Part one.
I thought it was interesting that they all come dressed in their finest. And Lisa Vanderpump's just wearing a blazer and a pair of slacks.
I think she tries to be like business at the Vanderpump Rules reunion. She tries to like have this hierarchy with Andy.
Yeah, definitely executive producer.
Whereas Leva on Southern Hospitality, she literally blends in with the people on her show. You can't even tell who's who.
But I think it's interesting. They're all in evening gowns and they've got this out and that out, and they're all in their finest. And Lisa just comes in a blazer and a pair of slacks. I think it kind of shows what she thinks of them. And Lisa was fantastic on Watch What Happens Live. I just have to say that. Oh, she was so good, Lisa Vanderpump, with Chef Gordon Ramsay.
Well, I'll tell you this.
And did she throw shade, Lisa Vanderpump? Oh, the shade.
I'll watch it. Bravo or Comcast. It's one or the other. Stop putting Watch What Happens Live as part of the show, whatever night it is. Because then when I record it, you can't record Watch What Happens Live. You have to record the whole show. And I don't want to watch The Valley.
Oh, they have it on after The Valley. I watched it live because Lisa Vanderpump was on. What does that tell you?
I'm over her.
Oh, I wasn't. No, she was so good. I want to tell you, she was so great on Watch What Happens Live last night with Chef Gordon. Why do I call him Jordan? It's Gordon Ramsay.
I smell cigarettes and Chardonnay. That's why I don't like Lisa. I have this phobia for smells.
I hate Chardonnay. I really do. I thought everybody looked great. Everybody came. They bring it. I will say this cast brings it.
I like that they addressed last year's like that. Like I liked how Lala said like Lala is doing much better with like seeing perspectives that are not what she like wants to see really, but just acknowledging them. Like we never really thought about how like it took a big set of balls that Raquel showed up last year.
It did. Yeah, huge. But I thought sure it was
yeah.
Don't you think that was probably something they didn't bring up? Like she wasn't going to get paid unless she showed up at the reunion?
Yes, but at the same time, like she clearly doesn't care because she didn't come back this season. So like what I'm saying is that like the money wasn't, like she turned down all that money to come back, even though it wasn't what she wanted. It still was good amount. She was making $300,000 last year before she opened her legs. So I mean, it's like,
I understand that, but it's different to get paid after you do work versus to get paid to do work.
I think that Raquel surprised everyone by not coming back. Just because I think people thought like this is all she's got. She wants the show. She wants fame. And I think it was a different circumstance. I just thought it was important. And I even thought Ariana's reaction wasn't terrible when she was just like, yeah, I guess. Like Ariana didn't really get like super overly emotional last night. And
About
I
it, any
liked
of it.
that because
Yes.
like it allowed for them to not get into big fights. Like we actually heard a lot and there was a lot of content.
Yeah.
And I know that you have your thoughts and I want you to share them around the grooming and Tom and all that. But what we need to separate when we have this conversation the idea that I think that there's a level of like intimidation that Tom brings because he's been on the cast for so long and he's like an
Okay.
established cast member making money. I'm not saying that he didn't groom Raquel, but I think it's different than when we just hear more of like a story of someone in power without cameras following them, without like that aren't on a show, that aren't both getting paid by a network. Like we see it more in places where like Tom has more power. Lala was right when she said that. But at the same time, they're all on a show. Like they're all getting paid. Like
And it wasn't, if Raquel was on Rachel, they all called her Rachel last night, by the way. If Rachel was on one season, and this started in her first season, I might say he groomed her, but I do not believe. Now, there might have been a massaging
manipulation,
and a
maybe like too.
manipulation, but
Yeah,
grooming I find is a little evil. And
totally.
and I would actually venture to say there could have been a lot of manipulation on Rachel's part.
I like that Tom Schwartz opened his mouth and felt confident saying because like that's the part. And even Ariana couldn't really deny what Tom was saying when he was like, we both did this. It was not just me. Like, because that's
Right.
something that they all have common ground on, I think,
Mhm.
is that was a Tom and Rachel situation. That was
Mhm.
not just a Tom situation.
Right.
And it was not just a Rachel situation. I will, though, what's like, I thought that they made a lot of progress last night. Scarily scary amount of progress for it being a reunion, especially it being Vanderpump Rules reunion, where I'm happy that they're like being able to talk through things, but at the
Yeah.
same time, it's like we still have not turned a corner as to this idea of like Ariana, everything you're saying about Tom Sandoval makes sense. Like whenever, like if your partner cheats on you, hides it from you for so long, yada yada yada, you have every right to set boundaries. But what you just no one's acknowledging is that no one is telling you that you have to be on this show.
Right.
So it's like, yes, you're right. No one can force you to film with them, but they also don't have to pay you and don't have to bring you back. And they don't have to have you on the show that they control. So, like, now, do they have to be that direct with her? I don't know. Maybe they will. And maybe that'll be the straw that breaks the camel's back.
But
But
she did film with him.
she did, but not in a
There
way
were
that
several scenes they were together. She did. I would say she met obligations by showing up, not interacting with him,
I guess. I
but
just
by
still think
showing up.
I just still think that like she could be like, I don't know. I just feel like I'm starting to believe the whole thing that she hasn't healed because a healed
I don't think she's
person,
healed either.
yeah, like
No.
at all, because a healed
Right.
person is able to start like having hard conversations where
Mhm.
where she can be
Mhm.
like, listen, I don't want anything bad to happen to you, but at the same time, I don't want anything to do with you. And I think that makes
Right.
total sense because of what you did to me. And like that's just as powerful as like the way she's acting. It just doesn't alienate everyone else. And I think that there's a path forward if that's the case. But at the same time, like what's difficult is that like Ariana being on the show moving forward requires Dan to be on the show if it's going to be real, right? And so I don't know if he's good for TV. He seems way too zen. And
Way too
also,
zen.
if you want to
And
see
he's on
something really
another coast.
interesting, watch the after show clip of
Oh,
Tom Sandoval, Tom Schwartz, and Jax when the producer asks them the question of what did you think of Dan? And Jax and Tom Schwartz are like talking so kind about him. They're like, he's so good, he's cool, he works out.
yeah.
He's like, he's zen, he doesn't want the drama, he likes to have fun. And Sandoval's like at the end just goes, seems like a nice guy.
What's
And
he
it's
gonna
so
say?
cringeworthy, so cringeworthy.
Well, I don't think Tom groomed Rachel. I
No,
don't. No matter
not at
what they
all.
say, I don't. If anything, there might have been a lot of manipulation on Rachel's part in order to solidify her stance within the group by getting with Tom.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
100%.
because I mean, we all know she could have had one season without James. But you have to see it from Rachel's part. She was going to have one season, maybe the aftermath of James, but what was she going to have going forward?
Ooh, that's so true.
And maybe she saw Tom as a chance to go forward.
Well, it was Schwartz, then it was Sandoval. So it's like
Yeah,
she
well,
was
it
going
wasn't.
down the
I don't think
line.
it was ever going to be Schwartz.
I think
Ever.
she wanted to get with someone on the cast, and it just
Yes.
worked out well that Sandoval wanted her as well.
Which might have been why Tom said, well, then why did she take off her clothes? If I groomed her, why did she take off her clothes and jump in my pool? I think we have the answer.
Yeah, I mean, I totally
Because
think
she
so.
wanted a guy on the show to stay on the show. It kind of backfired on her, though, didn't it?
I mean, I don't know. She seems very happy.
Oh, let's see if maybe she'll be back next year. Wouldn't that be crazy? The Healthy Raquel tour. I don't know. And the funny part is that James is sort of over it all. And there's even a little bit of watching him where I thought to myself, he's even over them. Because he wasn't very interactive last night. He had a couple of good lines, whatever, but he wasn't out there like he usually is at everyone. And I just saw like James is really growing up. I mean, compared to last year, of course, he's not even close to what he was at the reunion. But I do think he's sober.
Is it
He's
3 parts or 2?
I think it's 3.
Okay, so they might just be saving his crazy. Don't give him too much credit yet.
Yeah, no, but I think James is in a spot of he's very content. He's sober. His career's going well with the DJing and everything, and he's maturing. And if you go back and look at James from 5 or 6 years ago, it's like a completely different human being. And Lisa Vanderpump did mention, because they had her do this thing, Do You Regret?
Oh, yeah.
And they were like, do you regret kicking Kyle Richards out of your house? And she goes, no, not only do I regret it, I don't regret it. I loved it, And they asked her if she regretted firing James. And she said, no, because it helped his growth.
Of course.
Sober James is fantastic. Drunk James is a nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
So she did bring up, so his sobriety does have a lot to do along with his maturity and his relationship with Allie, who probably checks his charts every day to see what he can do. Maybe she does. You don't know. I still keep on going on her site trying to get me a reading.
You think she does the makeup? Do you think she does the hair and makeup people's charts when they're all out there filming when she's waiting to come on?
Probably.
She can have them all come into the room. I
bet you she might have done James's chart and said, don't be this way, don't be that way. It won't be good for you. I don't know. But James is over it. And there's a part of Schwartz that he's kind of over it all too.
No, but Andy said that the whole reunion. No, Andy said this like a month ago after they filmed it. He said the whole reunion was pretty zen because they're just over the fighting. And I think that's why I think that's why they're taking a pause, is that what's happening now is they're kind of over each other. So they're not bringing it when they film. And that might have been the straw that broke the camel's back for production, was like maybe the reunion was way too zen, that they were like, we need these people to not film for a few months. Because what happens when they don't film?
They chat.
They start chirping about each other. And
yeah. They do
chat. And then they start.
Yeah, that's
true.
They
share things, and then there's problems, and then they can bring up the cameras. And the other thing that they said was that,
well, not only that, but they were all on the same side this year.
But also they use the same production team as the Valley. And the Valley has 3 different divorces going on right now.
Yeah, no, I understand that. But this season, because it was so soon after Scandoval, they were all on Team Ariana. And it didn't fracture that much. I mean, they all kind of got sick of her success. Let's face it. I told you that was going to happen. But they all kind of stay in her corner for the most part until now.
I guess. Yeah. I just think, no, I think
but I think that was the lack of real discord this year.
I think that they were trying to stay as aligned with her as humanly possible until they couldn't.
Yes.
And I also think that Tom Sandoval surprised a lot of them with how he was able to kind of mature and take on the responsibility of what happened to a degree. But I just think that finally
it's 42 years
I think
old.
we're reading way too much into this like pause, because like they normally
Okay.
only film for 6, 7, 8 months of the year at the most, 6 months, and then they have 6 months off, and they haven't had that. So it's like,
Right, but all of these shows kind of start to film the next season after shortly within a month or two or so after their reunion. Yes, they do, because look at Jersey will start filming soon. They always film in the summer. They're already end. So they start filming when the season gets over, which is good because they all hate each other from watching the show. And do you believe Ariana didn't watch one episode the whole year?
yeah, but that's like a thing that this cast and like does. Like Jax didn't watch the show ever. Um, like
I
they
don't
just
know.
think
Could
that's
you not
so.
watch it if it was you?
I love the idea behind that, but I couldn't.
I couldn't either. I could not either. Now, I would say that the biggest revelation is that they all read the comments.
No, that's not what they're saying.
No, they are what they say. They're stuck in the comment section. Is they're on Instagram, they're on TikTok,
That's
they're
not what
on.
Lala is saying.
Oh,
She's
what is
saying
she?
that they're
What is she?
reading. Yeah, of course that's what it means, but they're not
Okay, all
like
right.
they're that like what she's saying is that like Katie was reading the comments of like, oh, Lala's against Ariana. So Katie's like, I'm not going to be against Ariana.
Yes,
Like Sheena's not going to be against Ariana, but it's not like
right.
they're like diving deep into them. They just don't want to be the one called out in the comments. I don't find that really interesting. I find that more
I think Summer dive deeper into the comments than others. Like
maybe
I would
that's
not
not
be
what they're saying
surprised.
though.
Okay, but I would not be surprised if Sheena Shea or whatever she calls herself, Sheena what?
That's it.
No, Sheena Marie. It's Sheena Marie
Oh,
is how she got
that was her first
introduced.
thing.
Yeah, she's Sheena Marie. Sheena Marie, I would not be surprised if she reads everything. She's probably got fake accounts and she's on Facebook and she's on Instagram and she's on TikTok and she's reading all sorts of stuff. And I would even beg to say that Miss Katie, who got called out for doing a lot of reading of the comments, I think some of them get their lines from reading people's comments.
Oh, that's such a bogus, like prove it. Name them. Name the times that they've used comments and name it.
I can remember back in the day that somebody had their post of when Tamra Judge.
Different show.
No, okay, but I'm just saying. Well, they're all of the same animal.
No, they're not as smart as the housewives. Don't give them that much credit.
Okay, but when Tamra had read, somebody had called Alexis Bellino, Bellino. Hey, she hasn't been around for a while. Give me a break. Her husband's name was Jim. Jesus Jugs.
Alexis
Because
bulimic.
because and the person had on their website or their post that they called her Jesus Jugs, and then Tamara used it, and everybody was like, I can remember at the time. Well, that's because they all read these comments and they get a lot of good lines from people like us. They do.
Or Alexis Bellino shared that with all of them about how someone called her Jesus Jugs. They talked about it all off camera, and then Tamara said it naturally because it's probably been the topic of conversations. And then
Okay, devil's advocate.
edited it to make it look that way. I cannot turn an eye to the fact that like we really don't know the truth of how this shit goes down.
Okay, let's say this. We saw how the truth go. I don't think any of these reality shows are much different behind the scenes. I think, look at the housewives of Salt Lake City. They were exposed that they all knew about Monica's other little personality and all of that. Who? What do you mean?
What do you mean they all knew about it?
They knew about that site.
Okay, but they didn't know it was her.
No, they did. I didn't say they knew it was her.
Okay.
I'm saying they knew about that site and they all had read the comments on that
that's
site.
different. That site was attacking them.
Yes, I
tagging them,
understand.
tagging them.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah, this is not tagging anyone.
No. I didn't say she was. But I'm saying I do believe that a lot of these people read social media on themselves.
Maybe, but there's a difference between comments and then there's a difference between accounts that share like breaking news or like
Oh, I'm not
gossip that
talking
they heard.
about that. I'm not talking
That's what
about that.
reality Von Tease was. It wasn't just comments.
I
Reality Von Tease
understand that,
would
but they
leak
still
information.
read it. And I believe
Of
people
course.
like Scheana Marie probably go pretty deep into
Maybe,
comments. And
maybe.
with her level of anxiety, I believe she is reading the comments and it's on her. Now, this is not the first reality show that I've heard that. I have read other
Of
reality
course. I
shows.
don't know why we're talking about it though. That's natural for any human being. If people were talking about you, you're not going to look
Yes,
at the
but it
comments.
does affect how they interact on the stage. Oh God, yeah, I'd be reading them all.
I
I
mean,
read them now.
kind of, but or I would just be like, the fans hate me for this, but I don't give a shit. Like that's what I would say.
Yeah, but that's a guy thing. It's harder for women. It
What do you
just
mean?
is.
Lala says the same thing.
Well, Lala, I believe, I'm going to tell you, I think Lala's great. I don't have a problem with
Oh,
Lala, which
really?
is
Should we
amazing.
flash back? I'm gonna
Yeah,
do a
we should have
flashback.
flashback. I don't have a problem with her. I think she's had tremendous growth, but I do think she's getting fed by the production.
See, I disagree. When they're saying that, because I read the comments that
Okay.
people are saying that like Lala is trying to break Katie and Ariana up. Lala is not trying to break Katie and Ariana up as friends. If Katie called Lala and talked shit about Ariana to her off camera, I actually think that Lala is showing up. You know how Sandoval goes, "Oh, it makes me like I did a good
Yeah,
job." No,
right.
Lala should be saying that. I did my job
Yeah,
because
she should
it's
be. But
true.
you know what? At the end of the season finale, when she goes through the curtains at the end, because I saw the end of it before this started, because they
Mhm.
had them back to back and I watched it live. She does say, I can't believe I finally broke the fourth wall or something like
Yeah,
that. Yeah,
because what she's saying is that like the life that Ariana lives and the way that Katie what Katie thinks about Ariana is not the reality that they push out on TV.
totally. I agree.
And the one that's in the wrong there, I mean, here's the deal. I think you can look at it from so many different angles. Katie's being a good friend to Ariana. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think it's a very gray kind of thing. I do see Ariana's or Katie's point that like if she wanted to call Lala and just vent a little bit, she should be able to do that without thinking that it lands on television. But I
True.
think there's a fine line, and I think that it also depends then on what Katie's saying, because Katie's also very outspoken about how they all should be aligned with Ariana, and I think that's what's pissing Lala off.
Mhm.
It's not that Katie vented to Lala. It's the fact that if Katie was staying quiet and wasn't being like, "Well, why are you guys doing that to Ariana? Like, I'm your friend." Like, she's making herself look like this patron saint friend, and what Lala is saying is that like, actually, I'm the one that you should be thinking more of as a patron saint friend because I'm being completely honest with you and telling you how I feel versus Katie that's not. So I have a feeling that if Katie didn't speak out as much as she did this season on camera about how Scheana wasn't being a good friend to Ariana, Lala wasn't being a good friend to Ariana, all these different things, I have a feeling that Lala probably wouldn't have brought it up. But when Katie is like making Lala look like she's not a good friend because she's giving Sandoval some grace, that's where I think Lala draws the line. And she's like, no, 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 no. Wait a second. Like you have thoughts about Ariana too. So all the little basic people out there, they are filming a
Yes,
reality
I get that.
show.
Now tell me, is there much of a difference between Lala telling the group about her private conversation with Katie and Tom Sandoval mentioning to Scheana in the season finale last year that I was going to leave her, but she said she would kill herself? Is there a
Um,
difference between those two scenarios? No, but the content of the conversations are different. Does that make it different?
100%. That's why it's different. The
Because of the
context is
content?
different. Yeah, the
Okay.
context is different. Like
Okay.
100%. Because you have to remember there's a difference.
But
If
I didn't hear
Ariana, no, no,
anybody
wait a
coming
second.
down. I didn't hear
I'm gonna
anybody
tell
coming
you
down on Lala that you uh spoke of this conversation you had, but they did on
because Katie
Tom.
didn't say anything that would be Katie. Here, there's two things here. First and foremost, Katie's speaking publicly about how she's this amazing friend to Ariana. Now, if
Yes.
Ariana was saying to the whole group,
But Katie
I
has
have
nobody else right
no, no,
now
no, but
either.
wait, if Ariana
She
was saying
doesn't.
to the
She has no
group,
one.
if Ariana was saying to the group, I have had no mental health issues because of this. I have nothing wrong with my mental health. I'm 100% healthy.
She's not.
And Tom could say, that's not true. You told me you wanted to kill yourself.
Right.
But when she's not saying that and she's just
Then
like,
he crossed it.
then he
Okay.
crossed a line. Whereas Katie is saying, I'm here for you, Ariana. I don't feel a
Thirsty.
certain way. I'm here for you to all the time. And that's where Lala is like, wait, no, you're not. So it's the saying something behind the scenes and then portraying something on TV. Whereas Ariana didn't try to portray herself as this like emotionally and mentally fit person. She didn't say she was a train wreck. We have no idea, but she didn't claim to be 100% healthy. And I think Sandoval just blurted it for his own benefit.
Mhm.
Whereas, like, I think Lala was thinking about the whole thing. She was thinking about Ariana when she said to Katie. She also didn't just say it to try to defend herself. That took a while. Where it's like they were kept coming at Lala, kept coming at Lala, and then Katie did again. And that's when Lala was like, oh, Katie, like you can tell she doesn't want to say it, whereas Sandoval like was itching to say that.
All right. I want to ask you this. What was Katie's storyline this year?
I think Katie doesn't 100% understand her storyline. This was the first year that I actually had empathy for Katie
Oh,
because of the fact that I think that Katie always fell second to Schwartz.
okay.
And then I think Katie now has naturally fell second to Ariana.
Okay.
And I think that lost in the same way that at times people forget that Scheana was a good friend of Sandoval, that he didn't respect their friendship nor her friendship with Rachel. And then also Rachel filed the restraining order against Scheana. People didn't really give Scheana, I think, the empathy that she deserved last year with the restraining order because, like, I don't think she did anything wrong, but it was hard for Scheana to like play victim with Ariana in the position she was in. And I think that with Katie, it's like kind of similar. Whereas like Tom Sandoval had a lot to do with the way that Tom Schwartz treated Katie when they were opening Schwartz and
Yes.
Sandy's.
True.
Because Katie was not Ariana. Katie was not as supportive. Katie had more of an emotional kind of baggage that she carried with Schwartz.
Well,
Whereas
they were
Ariana,
married.
and I like that Ariana keeps saying, I supported you 100%. So don't like, because that's true. She did. Now,
Yeah.
maybe too much, right? Like
Maybe.
maybe she
Maybe.
allowed him to be so independent that when he then decided to get with Raquel, he was already empowered to kind of keep things from Ariana. Whereas Katie didn't really allow Schwartz to get away with that. And
Right.
but I do think that there's a piece of this where
But
like
despite the different styles of relationship, they both ended.
they did, but I don't think that Katie has ever felt comfortable. Like, I think Katie has many storylines she could go down. I don't think
But
she's
I don't think
confident.
she had one.
No, I don't think she did because I think she made the decision as a friend to like not make like last year she had no choice but to kind of let go of her relationship issues with Schwartz the minute that Sandoval and Ariana stuff heightened. And that was even before Scandoval happened because even when they were in
Right.
Mexico, Katie was an outsider. She wasn't at the wedding. And there was like
Right.
all these things happening that didn't really allow her to like Katie's storyline last year should have just been about her marriage ending and stepping into the future, and it
Right.
was kind of hijacked. And then I think that if Scandoval hadn't have happened, like, or if it had happened a different way where maybe Tom and Ariana just broke up, like, I think that Katie, because the direct victim for Tom was Ariana, I think that Katie didn't even get a chance to kind of say, like, wait a minute, like, well, now that everyone hates you, Sandoval, I guess I have the confidence to tell you, like, why were you such an asshole to me during my time with Schwartz, where you could have helped us? You pushed my ex-husband in a different direction.
Yeah, I still don't think she had a storyline this
Well,
year.
it's because I think that
And I'm
she's
here
not.
thinking about it, and James had a storyline. He got his little house, and he's making
Oh,
James
no, no,
had
no. You cannot say that James had a storyline if Katie did not. Because I can then
James's
just say,
storyline was
is
that
what?
he's happy he got a house at the airport, and he was slowly um uh, forgiving Tom. And Lala had a storyline,
Okay, so then Katie
and
had one
Ariana
too.
had a storyline,
Katie had one too then. You want me to tell you what it is?
supporting
Something about
Ariana.
her will never open, and they're talked about that half the time. But that's the same. And then you
No,
say
but they
that
are gonna open.
but
And
then you
I
say
thought the way that
whatever,
Ariana, I just want to
whatever.
say the
No, no,
way
keep
that
talking. Keep
Aria,
doing your thing.
I
You don't
just
want me to prove you wrong. You just hate
all right.
Katie. You pick these people that you don't like, and then
Don't
you
like
stick with them.
Katie.
But then look what happened with Lala because you didn't like her.
And now
Um,
I do.
Katie, I think Katie's issue is a confidence issue. It's not a storyline. She has plenty. She just doesn't know how to be confident with her storyline. She doesn't know how to stick to one. She does not, you know what it is? Katie's too herself and too real on TV.
Hmm.
She just doesn't act out to try to create a storyline. And I think that's why a lot of people like Katie. She's not perfect. She's a bitch. She's just kind of
It's
herself. And she
just a
doesn't
little
try to
mean girl.
manipulate things. And I name one situation where Katie has turned it on for the cameras just to try to like make something look a certain way. I don't think she does.
Well, that's bad for Katie then. If she's really like that in her real life,
I think it's good for the cast because
it
is
is good for the cast, but okay.
she's just not your favorite, but there's plenty of
She's
frigid bitches that watch this show that align with Katie.
probably. I can see that. Yeah,
So
I
I
can
think it's
see
that your
that.
personality type, because it's the same with me. I don't really, Katie doesn't do much for me. But when I put myself into this like ice cold, I hate the world, I hate my ex-husband, and I'm never gonna find love because I can't like
Single
people,
white
period.
female kind of
Yeah,
movie
that's
role.
Katie. And there's a
Yeah.
lot of people that feel that are that person. And so I think they see a lot of
Psychopaths
like, I think they see a lot of themselves in
in
Katie,
her.
and
Okay, that
that's
could
great
be.
for them.
All right. I thought there were a lot of tears also. More tears than I expected.
I mean, Brock's tears made total sense because they totally built it up to like get him to cry.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
I still don't fully understand the whole situation with his kids, the other ones.
His children in Australia,
Yeah, I just don't get it.
they don't want anything to do with him. That's all.
Okay.
That's that. We'll never know unless they're on some blog talking about the truth. I don't even know how old they are. I mean, if they're like 6 and 7 years old, well, Summer Moons is 3. Maybe they're older. Maybe they're like 10, 12.
I also didn't understand this idea of this gives him a chance to be a dad again. It's not like the other two kids died. He's still a dad to them. He's just not a good one. They don't want him in his life. So I think
Well,
it's like to
he
do it
does.
the
They
right
are
way.
in Australia. It's hard to be a father when your children are in Australia and you live in, what is it, Marina Del Rey? Oh, now they live in
Listen,
the
it's hard to
valley.
be a parent when your kids live in New Hampshire and you live in Woburn. So it's hard, I don't know what to say. Okay.
True. That's all true. Yeah, that's true.
So
I know.
Australia means nothing to me. It's all about the effort people put in.
Well, that's true. Do you have a mess in this? I don't.
I just felt the
Just
shade. I just felt the shade came down on me. That's all I feel. I got chilly. I got so frigid. The sun was gone. The shade came on me, but I don't care. Mess. Just because Sandoval, as much as I believe that this might be one of the last moments that I give Sandoval my mess, and I'm only going to give it to him because I still just don't know why he can't just be like, before we get started, guys, I just want you to all know. I know you think that I didn't take this all seriously, that I've been bullshitting it. Like, I just want him to be confident with Ariana because I think he's done enough. And now he not confident where you can get her to like you again, be nice to you again, any of that shit. What I'm saying is that confident to be like, it's over. If you don't want to
okay.
be around me, you don't have to be around me. He's still a little like, it's like playing the victim a teeny bit now. And it's like he's
Hmm.
not taking full responsibility. And I just think like, okay, if you've grown this much, which I do believe he's grown, I would be like, listen, Ariana, you don't need to like me, but at the end of the day, I survived this. Look at me. And I'm
Me. Yeah,
here and
I agree. He
I'm
did
not
survive.
going anywhere. So if you want to keep your paycheck, if I were you, I would learn how to coexist because we don't need to be friends, but you're going to hijack the storylines. Like if I was him, I would say that even if it wasn't at the reunion, say it in the press. Like grow some cojones. And until you do, you're my mess.
Okay, that's good. I don't know if I really have a mess this
What
week.
about Lisa's jacket?
No, I liked it. I like Lisa.
I mean,
I like Lisa, and she was great on Watch What Happens Live. She threw so much shade. They asked her about Dorit. and PK. And they said, did you know that they were going to be separated? She goes, well, I don't know personally, but I know the person who runs the hotel where he's been staying for the last several months. So I sort of knew that this was happening, but either way, I feel bad because they've got children. It's always sad when a marriage ends with
How
small
about
children.
see, that's where Lisa gets herself in trouble. She should just, you know what she should say? Because now she's made the person who runs the hotel throws that person
Well,
under the
she didn't
bus.
say the manager. She just said someone who works at the
She shouldn't
hotel.
even have said that. She should have said it's Beverly Hills. We hear a lot of things. And I've known for a while that he was staying outside the
Well,
house.
she said someone at the hotel knew.
Yeah, good. Now see how quick he changes hotels and makes the new hotel signed an NDA, and then we don't get to hear anything. Whereas if I was her, I would be like,
It will come
you hear
out.
things.
No, you don't. You know what? It had already come out. There was already rumors. She wasn't. They've already filed for separation. It's not like there's rumors anymore, so it doesn't matter what she said. We were hearing they were having trouble. 6, 8 weeks ago, even more. Right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, we knew they were having trouble, but I like
Do you know what I find fascinating?
what's
Random
that?
fact to end the episode.
What?
We haven't had a housewife just like drop dead.
Oh, hallelujah.
I know, but like the amount of housewives there's been, that's a pretty high percentage that someone hasn't had like a tragic death in their 50s or 60s or 70s. That many people?
I can't think of any of their did any of their husbands?
Well,
Bobby, Zarin
I mean,
died, but it wasn't
yeah.
like I
I
can't think of
mean,
anybody else who died.
Russell's well hung.
Oh,
Stole the joke from the Tom Brady roast. Did you hear that? Edelman, when Julian Edelman said, Gronk, you have a big dick, but you're not as hung as the other tight end we had,
oh, who hung
Aaron
himself?
Hernandez.
Yeah, oh, that's I did
So
hear
I
that.
stole that joke. It's not funny.
It's not funny,
Thankfully, we have
especially
about
when we
3
were
viewers
having
at
a
the end here.
suicide episode.
I don't think it
Yeah.
is. I think that's I think that I'd like to see Tom Sandoval's hospital records, to be honest with you. I'd like to see why he didn't go and get some help and treatment, not Miraval in Arizona, where he was the spa with a massage. Okay. I think suicide's not something to mess with. And if you have suicide ideology or ideation, whatever they say,
You don't go to the spa.
go to the doctors. Like
Yeah.
right away. There should be a paper trail. No one should be handling that with like their friends and like an Oprah Winfrey, YouTube video telling you to believe in yourself and have gratitude. That's not how you treat,
Well, there you go,
suicide.
everybody.
So,
All right. Follow us on Instagram and Andrew.
and
Subscribe, like, leave me a comment. We love comments.
love comments. Bye, guys.